Alright, sup guys, Fallen Winter and Afraid Hero here. We both just got our Legend deck stuff, so we figured we'd do both of our deck profiles at the same time since we're running similar stuff but we have different kind of builds for it.
And we
So,
got pretty
yeah.
good reception from our first double deck profile, so we figured we'd try it again.
Yeah. So, for zeros, start off.
The best starter.
Why wouldn't you in the deck?
I guess to be fair, if you weren't running Phantoms as your grade 3s, then yes, it was understandable.
then,
Maybe run the Full Belt Brave
or
something.
the, what is it called? The
Run
Creeping Guard Goat.
Yeah.
But considering the things you can do with this thing, the pressure is just so real.
Without set 3,
Yeah.
there's no reason to
not.
take out the Judge Bell right now.
And then crits, because crits, it's pretty basic. It's just 8 for both of us, right?
Well, I'm actually
Oh,
running the 9th
you're
crit
teching the 9th crit.
just to try.
Yeah.
Draws like him, they don't like me as much, so I'm like, maybe crits will like me more, so I put in an extra crit.
Yeah, I would honestly consider running 10 crit to draw, but draws show up a lot for me, so I figure why not abuse that.
And then I'm running 3 draws and his 4.
I rarely hit like less than 3.
I don't know how he does it.
And of course,
I see my heals way more than I see my draws or crits.
are you missing something, sir?
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was
One
like,
more heal.
whoa, dude, he's 2 tech. But yeah, 4 heals, because
They're heals, yeah.
Yeah, you want these. Especially for a break ride deck. And then 1s, of course.
I'm running the 1 regular because he's cool. I like him. I don't know.
Yeah.
In a sensible
it's
manner.
Not bad.
This is just to be
yeah.
safe. If that weird situation where you literally only have him, then you're in a bad spot. But statistically, it should not happen.
But yeah, regular perfect guards. We don't have the other G ones yet. We'll talk about what's her face in the main later, since we both don't really feel like running her right now. So
I'm running 2 masquerades.
Yeah, we're both running. He's just extra
cards.
revenger target, honestly. If he can hit 10k rush down, then he can. If not, then he's a 7k. He's just a 7k revenger. That's all he needs to be.
Revenger name, yeah. He's the best 7k. I mean,
unless you want to run Bellbirth or
yeah.
something, but he doesn't do much.
For now, he is the best.
And then
I'm running 3 Dorants because I have another tech, but
yeah, I run 4 of these. Honestly, yeah, I would consider dropping one if I needed to, but as it is, it's another 7k, and he does stuff with Blasted Dark Revenger.
And then we're running Swordbreakers. I only run 2. He's running 3.
I run 3 just because it feels a little safer. I do normally hit at least 1 early game.
I do
so
too.
If I do, then I have the other targets, and they don't always expect the 3rd one. So sometimes they play more bravely if they see me ride 1 or something, or a damage 1 or whatever it is. They no guard it, expecting, oh, he's just gonna like +1 at best, and then I drop 2 more, and they're like, oh, and then I just draw free cards. It's kind of nice. And then our techs. I run just this.
I'm running 2 because he's running the Swordbreaker in its place.
Yeah.
And then basically, yeah, her skill, if you don't know what it is, it's the G-Break 1 when you have a Blaster Vanguard, grade 3 or greater. You can Soul Blast 1 and call a grade 1 or lower rearguard from your deck in standing position.
It's pretty great.
She has combos with the Maka. She has just good standalone card for like a top deck. It's like, oh man, look at my almost non-existent field. Well, let's just call her, maybe get a Swordbreaker, Soul Blast, draw a card. Oh look, another rearguard. Cool. Filled up your board for like a Soul Blast 2 or 1.
Also, the Judge Bow plays, bring her out rested, use her to bring something else out, like a Revenger standing or some other thing like that. It's kind of useful.
She has a lot of plays. And then for that Dorant that I took out, I'm running 1 Charon. I probably could get more utility if I ran the 1 Diablo, but right now it's just there for the safety in the mirror match for me anyway, because assuming you get to G-Break 1, you can Trumpeter, call this or something, or just call it from your hand, and it will be the sacrifice 2, so you don't have to sacrifice 3 units for the Diablo. That way you have a bigger field, so in the mirror match you have less chance of getting auto killed.
Kind of cute.
Because it's sack 2 for one of
Okay,
the
it has to be your
costs.
unit's ability.
Yeah.
This would have been hilarious if it was just any ability. Use that for the Diablo retire.
Oh,
That'd have been great.
yeah.
But yeah, it's just your skills, but it's still not a bad tech. And then on to grade 2s. Of course, if we run the Dorns, you want to run some number of Blaster Dark Revengers.
And we just maxed it out. I mean,
Why not?
Why not? I mean, like, probably you could tech in another grade 2 of maybe, like, another Mach if you really needed it,
Yeah.
or maybe Manas or any other grade 2s you like to tech.
But yeah, you might as well run him. There's not too many other options unless you want to run Masquerade.
Right. Which you don't need.
Yeah, not anymore. He runs 4,
I
I
run
run 3.
4. Yeah,
I just only picked up 3.
And they like him more than I do, or they like me, because he gets them in those opening hands. You'll see in our fights, he opens it pretty much almost every time, and I'm just like,
He
please
gets it
stop.
enough, but I usually hit this in a
But-
lot of matchups.
And he's only running 3 versus my
Yeah.
4.
And then
Well,
technically I run 2 of these. Like I said in my other video, I don't see as many people running Mana anymore, which is weird because they all run Macart, and I can see how Macart is potentially good because he can call anywhere, but it's 1 rested and he's on Legion. This is fantastic early game. Drop 1. She's a 5k shield after the turn and she becomes a 15, so if they're a 9k or a 7k or whatever it is, this is hitting 15, which makes the number to force it out of them.
and if you're thinking about it, it does guarantee that you don't drive check a grade 1, if you think about it that way.
Yeah.
I did run her in the Legion build, but with the G support, there's so little room for things that I'm just going with the flow,
Yeah.
testing it out without her.
And so next
We're
we
running
run the
3 Makas.
Yeah.
Because in the mirror match, and not even the mirror match, it's just
She
in
has
general, she
options.
pluses for you. She can call any grade 1 or lower from your deck, so
Pretty much
do you
if your
need a
Judge Bow,
Swordbreaker? No.
yeah, if your Judge Bow dies
a
or whatever,
Revenger?
your Swordbreakers do stuff.
If you need a Revenger, she can get you a Revenger. If you need just more cards, you can. The
Trumpeter.
best thing is you call a Trumpeter off of her and you call a Swordbreaker. It's like, look at all that plus.
And you have a field again.
Yep. So in the mirror match, you get a board and you get a plus. So
And
it might save your life.
yeah. So moving on, we've got the 3s.
I'm running 4 Mordreds.
Same.
Is
He's your stride fodder in any case that you already have 1 ridden. It's you've got 3 targets,
he's the Phantom. He gets your Judge Bow off.
and he's break ride
break
because your
ride is
break ride turn
great.
hurts with Abyss. So there's just not really any reason not to run at
Mordred,
least 3,
yeah.
if not 4. And then
Rounding
the
off
last.
3s. I'm running the 4 Abyss.
I also only ever got 3, and then he went up in price. It works for me. I never run into situations where it's this
Yeah, if you
that
ever
bad.
watch fights with this guy, he almost always has it. I don't know how he does it. He just magically gets
It
them.
stacks, or I stack or something. I don't know, but
I don't know. Even
yeah,
with my 4,
it happens.
I get
I'm-
sad.
I would probably consider running 1 more of him, but if not,
And
that's
then,
fine.
well, we'll just go on to our techs, because, like I was saying, with the Charon, I would get more utility out of teching him.
We both got 1
Yeah.
signed. What do you know?
So if you want to go into the Charon.
But yeah, pretty much what I was thinking with this is with the Charon play, he just kind of gives you the option where, because we don't have stride fodder yet, and he's pretty much all we've got, if you happen to have the grade 3 and him in like your starting hand, what you can do is if you have a trigger you don't feel like you need, call him,
Like
reveal
those many draw
yeah.
triggers that
Yeah.
give you.
Like, call him, reveal your grade 3 in your hand, search your copy of him in deck somewhere, discard that draw trigger or whatever to fuel your drop zone for Legion, and now you can stride pretty much guaranteed as long as you have your other grade 3. So, he lets you do the early stride, which is great with Judge Bow because that means he does stuff.
Yeah, and then
He
late
strides
game,
hurt with Judge
if you
Bow.
end up playing the mirror match or something, or just not in general, like, if you have an awkward hand but you have him, you can ride into him and pitch any card, assuming you're at G-Break 2. So, like...
Top deck to 0,
like,
well,
yeah, you
you're
can
doing
top deck
it.
a 0 and you can still stride into another
Into the-
Diablo,
yeah.
so... You get options.
And the on stride is free and snipe something, so your Diablo becomes even more terrifying. I mean, he's not. I'd still honestly think he's not a very good card just because he's so situational. But when he does do things, he hurts. It's just you don't do
Yeah, the
those
fact that
things
how
often.
specific his two skills are for requiring the Diablo to
Yeah.
go off, it's just.
But it's
kinda
worth
sad.
consideration, but it's
Yeah.
just not something. And then, we've got these that we were kind of talking about, but not really. You can consider running these. The only reason we don't is because, like we were saying, our Revenger count is so low that certain cards that we need to search out, or if we need to go into our Abyss play because that's more beneficial, she can't do anything. Whereas if you run the Revenger ones, you can drop them in the really bad situation where you have to, and you can still activate the Revenger Perfect Guards. She
And
is nice for the drop and draws, though. If
there
you
are
can do
those
it.
other matchups that you get stuck in, like maybe something that has guard manipulate, the cross, or like Laurel, where they will hit your rear guard for something important. So like you can't perfect guard rear guards with her still, because she's basically a G perfect guard, but without the
Yeah.
unflip. So you're literally stuck in that awkward situation where, like, if you're playing against a guard manipulate deck, maybe for example, you could perfect guard or rear guard to save your zeros.
Yep.
But now you can't because she
Now this is
can't
dead.
block it. Yep. But the drop and draw is kind of nice to try to dig for what you need, but it also attributes to deck out since you don't spam Legion as much anymore. Like you used
So,
to.
with that, going into the extra deck, or G unit.
My G unit or G zone is very sad because I only got one legend deck since the rest are coming in the mail. So sadly, one Grim Recruiter definitely would run at least two right now without set 3.
And yeah, I'd got most of my stuff done, so I think my G zone is pretty much finished. So I run 2. This is just a really good card on hit. Search out grade 1, call it. This plus Judge Bow is terrifyingly bad for your opponent. I also, since Judge Bow bring out 2 sword breakers, this brings out either another sword breaker, another Revenger, whatever.
Or a Trumpeter.
Or
and then
Trumpeter.
You get even more cards.
Yeah,
it's,
like
it's really
this
ridiculous.
does stupid things, and it's
And he runs triple sword breaker. If he really wanted to, he could
Yeah.
just go into triple sword breaker.
and I'll have the 3 soul because 2-1 ends the Judge Bow that I put in, so
Yeah,
It does
it's
stuff.
pretty ridiculous.
it forces guard.
Well, I just
Yeah.
this is just there. This card, I don't understand why his skill is like this. If you don't know what he does, it's basically on stride, retire rear guard, give this unit +7 and an on hit ability to retire something. So it's an inherent minus. You don't even get the guarantee of your skill going off. It's just a sad card that should be a Grim Recruiter, honestly. But
It has its uses as a tech, but if you have better options, then you might as well run
like,
them.
I don't know why you wouldn't just want to get a free card off of him and on hit instead.
Yeah. So that's his thing. Mine is, I run the Drag Ruler Revenant. This what it does, if you don't know, is it's an act ability that's once per turn you retire any Revenger unit to call out another grade 1 Revenger unit. It works for, I have a Masquerade that I don't need, kill it, bring out a Dorant, now you've got a Blaster Dark Revenger unflipping column.
Or if you have a draw trigger on board.
Yeah, or a draw trigger or whatever turned into something better. Mana columns, if you have them dead in your hand, call it. It brings out its unit that goes back to bottom of deck at end of turn. Use this skill, sack it, bring another unit out, and now you've got something that's permanently there. It just has its uses. It's not something you always want to go into, but when you have no better options, it's something to consider.
And I would definitely be running one tech drag ruler, but because Fire's Collection got all weird with our Hawaii situation, one of our local card shops that we were banking on having, they didn't get the shipments at all, so I couldn't get my copy from them. So I'm just running a Blizza to fill its spot. Honestly, it's really just a filler. You'll never use him. He goes straight away with the G assist. You really don't need it or want it in this deck.
And lastly,
Well, not lastly.
Well, not lastly, but pretty much the card of the deck. The deck, or the card that made this deck more meta than it already was. Blaster Dart, or Phantom Blaster Diablo. this thing does work. This is Luxac, the card. If you happen to catch them off guard, this card wins you games like by itself if you strongly believe enough or you hit a critical trigger. If you don't know what he does, it's an act when you stride him. You counterblast one, flip another copy of him over in your G zone, and your Vanguard gets plus 10,000 and an extra crit, and it has the ability as an auto when you attack, you sack 3 of your units, and your opponent has to retire 2 or can choose 2 of his rear guards. If they retire 2 of their rear guards, they can guard. If not, they can't.
And they have to be successfully retired.
Resist units are sad.
Stamps the otter because it didn't actually leave the board and be retired. It doesn't count, so you still can't guard.
So this deck just wins you games with a lot of matchups, since there's a lot of decks that either retire their own units for things or just leave empty field, like Murakumo, Great Nature. Aquaforce gets sad sometimes because they just have resist units or they need their field. This kind of ruins a lot of decks' days, including the mirror match, since Phantom Blaster Abyss, without using anything to plus, they just can't respond because they've only got 2 cards. If you snipe anything on their field with like Phantom Blaster or Blaster Dark Avenger Abyss or Blaster Dark Avenger, they're forced to no guard, an extra crit Vanguard.
The mirror match gets so crazy with this card. You see in our videos, we did 2 matches just to try it out.
It's so hectic and filled with whoever goes off first and just whoever
can survive
plans ahead
going off
and guesses right on what their opponent can do. So for me, my last card, we both run the Madu.
It's not that useful, but it can come in handy. It's there for when you're in Legion. You can actually stride and get back your 3, so you can either like re-Legion or re-stride the very next turn. It's just nice because you get the benefit of stride, of triple drive, and you literally get back the cost you paid for stride. So I don't know. I think it's
a plus technically since you got 3
deck.
cards. Yeah, it's just really splashable.
Yeah.
The other thing which is kind of useful but not happening that often, if you say top deck a Mordred Phantom using stride, and then you stride with it, if you happen to have the extra Phantom Blaster Abyss,
maybe you strode it early,
you healed it or something, you can drop the Mordred to get the Abyss back, and then you can re-ride and potentially go off again. So you can exchange it for basically a better grade 3 that you can potentially use. So it has its uses. Not always necessary like some of the other cards, but another tech option that they actually have quite a lot of.
And it can help you in that situation, so
yeah,
it's nice to have the option.
So I think that was everything. If you guys have any questions, comments, stuff like that, let us know. We'll try to answer them as soon as possible, but we'll be in Japan, so
for 2 weeks.
Expect a little bit of delay.
Also, yeah, these decks that we have right now are subject to change at any moment in time because there's so many things to think about and try with this that these builds are not set in stone.
And then, of course, not long after we get back, BT3 is going to come out, and
Sneak
our
is
decks are going to change even
the
more.
Saturday we come back, so it's going to be hectic with all the cards.
So look forward to potentially another Shadow Paladin thing with even more updates and potentially a whole new Shadow Paladin deck. But yeah, that should be everything. So I guess we'll see you guys in the next video.
See you guys.